Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and this is my show, Deep Astrology, giving you the show that everybody wants from the Leo King. Talking about astrology and, more importantly, going really deep into whatever's happening in the universe this week, you know? All the people want this show, and I'm super happy that everybody shows up for it. And if you don't know, I do a daily video horoscope on futurelife.tv, also with 11 other people there. You're not going to want to miss it because, to be honest with you, I go this deep every day. Although people on my YouTube and people on Facebook seem to think this is the only deep astrology I do. I happen to have a whole website dedicated to going deep every day. Anyway, we are on quite a week to talk about. We got a lot to talk about in this week's Deep Astrology. We've got good old Sun and Jupiter, my favorite day in the astrology, but why did it have to come on a Venus square Saturn day, one of the lowest, hardest aspects? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all this Chiron energy with Mars, right? Oh man, it's almost like everybody needs their Viagra a little bit. And then we're going to talk about this new moon that is building up in Pisces and the conjunction to Chiron that is coming. And on top of all of that, what else did we have to talk about? There's so many things happening, it's like overwhelming. What would I like to say before I go into all these transits? Be easy on yourself this week. We are finishing Pisces. These last degrees of Pisces are not the easiest. They always are the most sensitive. They always are definitely more of an edgy kind of feeling where the soul feels like it's at a cliff. So you got to remember to not lose it in that aspect. Literally lose it psychotically too, or in your psychology aspects. Don't lose anything in your mental health because this deals with those areas, and Mars at the same time is pushing up against that stuff, which is in, of course, the sign of Sagittarius, which we all know every Sagittarius is crazy, and Mars can put us into that place. And I don't mean literally crazy, but I mean definitely explodes the energy all over the place. So, yeah, there's a lot of energy to deal with. And, the other thing I wanted to bring up is Mercury and Venus, which are following each other, and how important I think that is, and what's that going to be doing for this week. So there's a lot of things to talk about, and of course we're on the heels of the big equinox, right? The March 20th equinox, which comes next week, and I'm super excited for that. That's the new year in astrology, which is coming next week, so we're a week away, but we won't be talking about that chart because that'll be for next Tuesday. I also want to say this. Because we are at this very interesting juncture point in the year. We had our first planet go retrograde, Jupiter, and now we're getting ready for Mercury to go retrograde next week. I think that there is a lot for us to pay attention to when it comes to making sure that our perceptions in our head are in the right place, but even more important than that, making sure that we know that there is a major change coming once this new moon finishes, once the sun moves into Aries next week. Like, we're going to move into a whole different chapter of things. So not to lose it right now. Some people might be feeling like, oh my gosh, life's going this way. I don't know where it's going. It's going a little crazy. It's up and down. And one thing I've been saying, and actually I just did a reading for somebody, and I told her, I was like, actually the best way I could describe the energy is kind of like Vegas. You're seeing people in real highs and woohoo, and then, they're leaving with no money, the other people, and really unhappy, and oh God. And it's a very, I don't want to call it bipolar, but it's very Vegas-like, where it's like the energy is just all over the place and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know which corner. One corner it's glitzy light and ding, 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 and the next corner it's literally, oh my gosh, get me out of this little situation. So there's a lot definitely going on in those aspects. And I think when it comes to our conscious energy, this is amazing times in our life for our consciousness with the astrology. Amazing times for us healing deep, deep-seated issues in ourselves, especially our egos. And more importantly, I think that this is an amazing part for us to deal with projects, relationships in ways that we haven't been able to before. This Mercury-Venus union that's coming up is super rare. And we've got to take hold of it and start to use it. And I don't think we've been able to really see that yet because Venus is finally catching up to Mercury this week. So without further ado, why don't we check out and see what's in the astrology. Alrighty, so what do I got here? What I just did was I actually just put the chart for today. So let's see. All right, here we go. So I've got the astrology chart for March 13th. I just did it at 5:34, so what time is it? Yeah, it's about right now. So this is the exact chart of the moment that I'm doing. And what is the big deal? Sun trine Jupiter. Look at this. Sun at 23 degrees of Pisces, and we've got Jupiter there at 23 degrees of Scorpio. These are some of my favorite days. I even got married on a Sun-Jupiter day, and there's people out there who think I'm crazy that I got married on this day, but I'll be honest with you, no matter what happens, Sun-Jupiter is the ultimate blessing, always. And no matter how much crazy things are going on in the universe, nothing beats a Sun-Jupiter aspect. It is Zeus, Jupiter, meeting with the Sun, with actually the god of all the gods. I mean, this is a moment where we might not see it, but this is a major moment of expansion and beautiful blessings, even in the middle with this Venus square Saturn. So Saturn in its natural sign of Scorpio, 8 degrees, and Venus in its detriment, where it's not happy, right, in Aries, making an exact square. These are the exact opposite transits, right? So Sun trine Jupiter is like, out of the positive, like a 10. And out of the negative, you know, Venus square Saturn, it's like a 2, you know? So it's like, you know, it's really an in-between feeling of like, how do I feel like, where is the positive in such a negative experience, you know? And I think a lot of it is learning this. In order for us spiritually to get through life right now, we have to realize we have to find the tools and the solutions that are going to get us on the right path. And whatever those tools and solutions are, and relationships issues, and whatever hard things show up, I think it's important for us to realize that there is a door opening with all these issues, with all these things that are happening in our life. Jupiter in retrograde in Scorpio is a massive treasure hunt. So, you know, it could feel like, you know, we're looking and revealing a lot of hidden treasures everywhere. And sometimes, you know, it's very difficult because with this Venus square Saturn, it really depends on the individual because, like I said, it's like Vegas. With the Sun trine Jupiter, it's like, man, there's great luck for some people. And then next to you is somebody going through the worst luck in the world. And it's a really weird transit to go through, this energy. It's a very high-low. And it depends on how, you know, some people are aligned with it. And I'll be honest with you, it's been very hard for me to see. I've been seeing some people going through some very hard issues right now in relationships and things that they value very much in their life. But at the same time, I've been seeing people going through like crazy, radical, awesome things and good luck happening and positive doors opening up. So it's a very, you know, all over the place transit, but no matter what, there's a doorway. This Sun-Jupiter aspect is opening up major doorways to find deeper in yourself that there were some things in life that needed to come to an answer or come to fruition and open up the truth to those areas, you know? So Jupiter retrograde definitely opened up a lot of truths. It opened up a lot of the realism that's going on in the universe. It opened up a lot of things in life that was like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that. Especially the reason why I say you weren't ready for that, because this one came exactly as the moon conjunct the south node in Aquarius. This is a radical, unpredictable, tapping into moment that is shaking people. I mean, if we look at the news, you know, Tillerson getting fired from Trump is a great example of this. It's like Venus square Saturn, a very big decision in a relationship, unpredictable moon on the south node in Aquarius, while at the same time the sun's trining Jupiter. Like the truth finally came out. It was probably, this has been going on for a long time and it finally needed to be done. So the sun trine Jupiter is a blessing, probably for Tillerson and probably for Trump, you know? So you got to start to look at it in that kind of aspect where it's like, these things are coming up to be faced, especially Saturn and Capricorn, which is like very stern, very truthful, and only what's good for us in the long run. coming up to that Venus and Aries being like, I know you want it to look this way, young kitty, but I'm sorry, it's got to look this way. And so there's a lot of things that make this week very odd and weird, because we all have to face things in our life that are truths that are not easy to deal with, but they are opening us up to awesome doorways if we're willing to accept them, no matter how dark, no matter how scary, no matter how crazy they might seem. And this is all because also, if we look at this, right, Chiron has reached the 28th degree. And why is that so important? That is so important because guess where Chiron went retrograde last year? 28 degrees of Pisces. So we're finally about to come out of shadow with Chiron. And we're finally about to go to the last degree of Chiron, coming into Pisces at 29 degrees. Now, it's not going to happen this week, but we are heading that way. And these last 2 degrees are literally the hardest degrees in astrology. It's the ending. It's the end of the 12th house. If you were to look at your house in astrology, like where your rising sign is, and if you were to look at the last 2 degrees, okay, that is 29, 28 Pisces, okay? So it's always the darkest before the dawn. And it's so ironic that there's a new moon building this week at that position. And Mars is squaring. So let's look at the Mars square now. Mars is squaring Chiron. Well, today it's at 27, but tomorrow, guess what? It's going to 28. And guess what? That Mars is squaring that Chiron at 28. It is aggravating. Mars is an inflammant, right? It's a fever. Mars rules fevers and inflammation. And so it's like, scratching a wound that, doesn't need to be touched. It has maggots in it, It's like, let's just keep touching it. Like, It's like, and what are they? They're deep inside parts of ourselves that feel like, whether we feel lost, Pisces, or whether we feel disconnected, or whether we feel like we're going in a wrong direction and we don't know if it's right, and is God going to take us in the right place, or why is this happening to me? We have to have that Mars in Sagittarius believe we're going in the right place. We have to have the confidence. And where is Mars? It's at the galactic center point. This week it crossed that spot, this 26 degrees of Sagittarius to, I call it 0 degrees of Capricorn. This is the galactic center point spot. Mars is saying, are you going to charge towards your galactic destiny? And Mars is getting ready to meet up with Mars, Saturn, and Pluto. Bop, 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 bop. Oh my gosh, talk about intensity and edge and getting through things. Look at how bold I'm putting that, because in astrology that is one of the biggest and most extreme transits that's coming over the next month in our lives. So do you think it's any coincidence that the universe is getting all the bugs out before you go through that transit? It's getting the bugs out in your ego and the things that make you feel like, oh, I don't know if this is good for me, or if this worked out right, or this didn't work out good, or this was shitty, or this. It's getting rid of all that crap. It's also, on a very crazy, deep spiritual level, because this is the end of Pisces, because Chiron's entering the end of Pisces, because Mars coming to the last final degree this week of the critical degree of 29 degrees, because the sun's trining Jupiter, right, in Scorpio, to be honest with you, you know what this really is? The universe is clearing out shit that we didn't even realize needed to be cleared out. There are contracts, Jupiter and Scorpio, with God, with the higher ups, that we don't even know about, that we're supposed to go down. They're hidden. Jupiter in Scorpio retrograde is hidden buried treasure. It is also hidden contracts that you didn't know about with the universe that are swiftly taken action when Jupiter went retrograde. And some of them are great and some of them are bad. And that's the part of Scorpio. There is no gray. It's like either amazing or fucking horrible. And it's horrible because we're afraid of death. We're afraid of ending. We're afraid of things not going the way that we want to. We're afraid of losing something. And that's what these Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio aspects are with the major trine to the sun, is opening up, here's the spiritual doorways and the spiritual contracts, and I'm here to collect. Remember that Scorpio is the Grim Reaper, and the Grim Reaper is collecting. You know, a lot of people get obsessed with Jupiter and Scorpio being about exposing the truth of sexual people and their deviancies, or exposing financial things and stuff. That's all great, and that's all great astrology, but you want to know what the real shit is? Deep spiritual contracts that we weren't able to see, that were part of what souls made with the universe, that were predetermined, that were preset, all being shown up now. So anyway, that's some deep shit right there. And especially when you have it conjunct with the moon and the south node in Aquarius, it's shit that you weren't ready for. It's shocking. It's like, I wasn't ready for that. I wouldn't expect I'd be here through that right now. So we're all walking through this massive portal. Like, wow, this is exactly where life is supposed to go for me now. And these are the things that I'm dealing with. And these are revelations that I wasn't probably ready to have, but these are them, and here they are. Now the good news is, as we move forward this week, so I wanted to put the next one at the new moon that's coming this weekend. The reason why is this new moon's very, very, very strong. And you would think, like, in Pisces it wouldn't, but it's strong because it is happening at these last degrees, and it is happening conjunct Chiron. So this is starting to erase, but the only way we can erase something is it has to be written down. So the things that we have written down in our life that make us feel worthless, that we're not going to make it through, this deals with depression, this deals with suicide, this deals with end of the rope things in life. Like, I can't take anymore. Have to be dealt with, have to be healed, have to be processed. There's also a new moon square Mars and almost square Saturn. But when you square Mars in anything, and especially in a new moon, and especially a Mars at the last degree, it's the confrontation of the issues that are holding you back from moving into your greatness, that are moving into broader places, that are moving into more positive spaces. You know, it's like, you got to remember also that the co-ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. And so the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. So we're having a major square of this new moon Chiron Mars in Jupiter-ruled signs. These are issues with our beliefs. These are issues with opening up new doorways, experiencing new things, fear of the experiences that are coming our way, fears to experience a new life, facing fears as Jupiter just went retrograde in Scorpio, and exposing the fears and trying to find a way. Also resurrecting parts of ourselves that we weren't ready to maybe ever bring back. We thought were dead or coming back. I did a big blog this week about Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio as being like Jack in Nightmare Before Christmas. Because, you know, Jupiter's like Santa Claus. Jupiter comes around, with all the gifts, da, 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 da. But, you know, the whole thing is Scorpio is a sign in which Jupiter is a little bit weird about, just because, one, it's in the underworld, so Jupiter would rather be in the overworld where it's happy and on top of, you know, great places and positive places, but in the underworld there's creepy crawlers and there's deep things and there's, you know, there's a lot of crazy things going on down there. So Jupiter in Scorpio becomes Jack in Nightmare Before Christmas, trying to be positive and trying to, you know, do Christmas, but really doing it in a Halloween way and scaring the kids and scaring everybody and doing it wrong and using it in another person's life, right? Jupiter, when it's in Scorpio, is teaching you how to use other people's things and do good things with it. So Jack learns through the whole process of Nightmare Before Christmas of how to do Christmas, but really it's like, that's Santa's job. And maybe, like, you know, there's weird ways in which we learn what's good for us that's outside of ourselves and what maybe we're not the best at and what maybe we shouldn't be doing. It also resurrects parts of ourselves that we thought got killed with Saturn and Mars that went through in retrograde, very karmic transits from 2012 to 2016, especially the end of 2012 to 2016 with Saturn entering into Scorpio. So all these old parts of ourselves are coming back and were brought back alive in the last week. And here's the sun trining Jupiter, almost like it's like making it shown fully. And it's like it's like undeniable now. And we might be scared of that. We might be scared of these old parts of ourselves coming back. And this new moon is about the fear of becoming that new self that's towards a new direction. Mars and Saturn is actually a very positive and a very negative too. Mars and Saturn is determined as hell to get where it wants to go and will find any way to get there. But with the squares to this new moon in Pisces, it's the insecurities in ourselves. It's the, oh, let's wait till the last minute. Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. It's the questioning of our strength. This new moon is about healing the questioning of our strength to make things happen. The questioning of our beliefs in our strength to make things happen. This is the issue, is that people are afraid. People are afraid to go where they want to go and become who they want to become and go in the direction that they want to go in their lives. That is what this week is about. And you're going to have to bring up old parts of yourself that you bury deep to get there. Oh, old parts of yourself that you were like, I'll never be that person again. No. Done with that person. Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio. Fucking zombie coming out. Oh, yeah, I remember you. Okay. You want to come with me? Let's go. Because that old part of yourself will only be the part that helps you complete what is going on in the journey forward. And we are learning to embrace parts of ourselves that maybe we are afraid to show other people. Remember, Pisces is hidden. Scorpio is hidden. We're having Sun, Moon, Chiron, Jupiter, all this stuff in water, right? All these hidden parts of ourselves. And it's this hidden part of ourselves and these hidden parts of ourselves that we're learning to have to integrate and bring out as Jupiter is, trying to resurrect these things. The Sun, Sun and Moon and Chiron are trying to bring out these shyer, more deeply sensitive parts of ourselves out because Mars is exacerbating it at the last degree. Let's go, come on, let's go on the adventure, let's show it off, let's go. This is the 29th degree, this is the center of the galaxy, let's go. And it's like these sensitive parts of ourselves, these hidden old parts of ourselves, these true, authentic, raw nature, raw aspects of ourselves are afraid to go. Or we're afraid of these old parts of ourselves, or we're afraid because we've got so many sensitivities to so many things. We've become, we've become too sensitive. We've become too clammed up because of the last 6 years of fucking hell with Saturn in Scorpio and Mars retrograde in Scorpio and eclipses in Scorpio and all this shit. And I'm not putting Scorpios down. I'm just saying that for the collective, what it does is it faces us with our deepest fucking fears and destroyed us. We were destroyed. And then we went through Pluto and Uranus squares. And then we went through Saturn square Neptune. And then we went through fucking all the fucking Neptune and South Node shit. I mean, come on. It's like, if you do your astrology, the last 6 years were fucking hell. 2018 is the reflection of all the hell coming back and us overcoming it and saying, it's not happening, and getting over that PTSD, bringing back parts of ourselves pre that motion and getting back on track. It's over. This new moon and this whole aspect in Mars, Saturn, and Pluto conjuncting in Capricorn is about to get that structure reset. This is a massive reset by the universe to get you back on where you were pre-6 years ago. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what else could. Imagine who you were pre-2012 and watch how it is coming back. The you were at the end of 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, and even most of 2017. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, bye-bye. Goodbye. And I bet you didn't even... There's parts I'm sure that you liked about that person. There's parts of yourself that you learned a lot from that person. But I guarantee you, the person that's coming back is the person that you really wanted back anyways. And it was your dream. You wished, you begged God for this person to come back. And when it finally comes back right now, you're like, I don't know about that shit. It's like, what the fuck? Come on. This is what you asked for. And now you're like, I don't know about this. I got so used to being protected because I was so fucking scared and fearful of all the crazy shit that I was going through in my ascension and all my fears. Now you're afraid to become the person you once were? Like, what the hell's going on here? Shit cracks me up. Anyway, on top of that, let's go back to the chart here. Venus and Mercury during this new moon. Wow, so Venus is finally caught up to Mercury. Usually it's the other way around, right? Because Mercury is the fastest planet. Venus is a pretty fast planet, but Venus catching up to Mercury because Mercury is starting to get ready to make its station next week and go retrograde on the 22nd. But Venus and Mercury are going to hang out for the next couple weeks. And this means that, you know, our self-worth, relationships, projects, these finally with Mercury here, it's going to take the time to stop and pay attention to these things. And in Aries, clear the details out, clear things out, speak with people. I also said that these are hot one-night stands coming, you know, with people, but it might burn out quick. Don't get too caught up in relationships to where you're like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Venus and Aries tends to be a blow-up doll. It looks real good real quick. Once you're done, you're like, throw that shit in the trash. I'm fucking done. It's gross. That's Venus and Aries. It's real hot real quick. Why do you think it's at detriment? There's no balance in Aries with Venus. No balance at all. Zero. It's hot, and then it wears it all out. It's like getting in a car. It's like have you ever watched drags? It's like at the drag strip, and then all the gas goes and it's out of gas. So with Mercury here, it's like trying to understand we are excited about things. We have relationships that are going to start to come up that we're putting into, but don't burn out all the gas right away, you know? There's going to be a part of ourselves that are bringing back old parts of ourselves too, where we might try and push the gas too hard. We got to be careful about that. Especially with all this Scorpio energy that's been gone retrograde, right? Like, you know, I mean, it's definitely bringing up a lot of intense aspects in our deeper self that are coming back, desires now. I mean, this is the Indiana Jones in us coming out. This is the part of ourselves that wants to find desirable, hidden, nature's deepest, darkest sexual fantasies and explore those areas. And we got to watch how we deal with our nature and our raw nature. And on top of all of that, on this new moon, I mean, it's the beginning of Mars entering into Capricorn. So if we look at the next chart, which is at 12:12 p.m. on the 17th of March, look at this. The new moon happens, and then the moon comes into Aries and joins, look at that, joins Venus, Mercury, and Uranus. But what does it do? It squares Mars and Capricorn. And so these are at the 0 point. This is extreme. This new moon is more extreme on the back side of it than the front side. So the Pisces, Chiron, you know, stuff is still going on, Sun and Chiron. But you're going to notice this amperage, you know, to like make shit happen, make things happen, let's go. These are very extreme. Even though the moon is squaring Mars, it's not a negative square because Mars is technically being squared by the moon in Aries, and the moon in Aries is Mars ruled, and Mars is in its exaltation. So this is technically a good square. These are like really old techniques to use. So this is going to be a very amped up new moon at the second part of it, because we are literally going to transition extremely with Mars. So instead of this, we're going to face this deep inner part of ourselves that doesn't believe it can make it, and then out of nowhere we're going to rise up and go, we gotta go, we gotta make it happen, let's go. And Mars in Capricorn is ambitious as hell. Literally, it's going towards Saturn. It's got to make some deep, deep, deep decisions about its identity and its path, and seriousness becomes the name of the game now. And so this new moon will be that you cannot make these serious things happen in life if you're attached to old identifications of I've been fucked by the universe because all these stories of my failures, all these stories of what didn't work, all these stories of like, well, here, this is what's happened to me. You don't know how many times, I don't even know where, I can go anywhere, a restaurant, I can go anywhere, and I'll hear people just talk about you don't know how my life was. My childhood was like this, and my blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh my gosh, just keep running that story all day. That'll really get you far in life. That's what this new, Sun Chiron at the end of Chiron is. It's like, are you going to keep just opening the wound instead of letting it heal and scab over and putting a t-shirt over it or a band-aid and fucking walking on and let's go? Mars in Capricorn does not want to hear about your bullshit going on happening in your past. It wants to focus on now. It wants to focus on where we're going. It wants to focus on the destiny. It wants to focus on the future. It wants to focus on where we're going. It doesn't want to focus on your fucking bullshit from the past. No matter how crazy the story is, everybody in the world has a crazy, horrible story at one point in their life or multiple points in their life. You're a human, just like the other human. Doesn't make you less human or a harder human because of the stories of whatever you've had. These are where we're learning that if we're going to evolve as a species and become one and become this big one that all the spiritual people want to be, you've got to stop saying that my shit is worse than yours. Because it ain't. Sorry. It ain't. It ain't. We're all going through shit all the time. Welcome to the crazy fucking earth. You just are experiencing it in that way, and I'm experiencing it in that way, and you're experiencing it that way, and she's experiencing it that way, and he's experiencing it that way. And, it's like this is what this whole week is about, is getting rid of the I am going through this shit. You're not. You don't understand. The other part of Chiron is, oh, nobody gets it. Remember, Chiron is this awesome centaur that has invisible powers or immortal powers and gets struck, oh my gosh, by one of his own centaurs that has an arrow that takes him out of his immortality. So Chiron is the part of yourself that feels like you've lost your magic, where you've been fucked over and lost your greatness, and you're left with shit. But Chiron learns that his mortality is what makes him immortal. By helping others and by finding a way to still move forward through a shitty situation and find something positive in it. All your doomsday, shitty stories and shit you've been through in your life are meant to rise you up and make you amazing. But for some reason, we just all want to hold on to depression and horrible situations of what's happened to us, and we're not going to get fucking nowhere anymore with that. Because if you look at what's coming, Mars, Saturn, and Pluto do not want to hear your emotional stories. Why do you think Cancer is the opposite sign of Capricorn? Family, home, emotions, sensitivities, crying, it doesn't want to hear them. And especially because it's making a hard square now over to Chiron, it doesn't want to hear about your past life issues. It doesn't want to hear about your past stories in this life. It doesn't want to hear about any of that shit. All it wants to focus on is now and getting to the destination and where it wants to go. So the good news is Venus and Mercury that are conjuncting finally and getting close to it are going to be conjuncting, especially when Mercury goes retrograde, which is going to be interesting. But the fact that the moon's hitting all this and all that stuff during this new moon and this weekend is awesome because it's like, let's just fucking go. Let's make life happen. Let's get over all the stuff that doesn't make sense. Who cares if it doesn't make sense? This is Clarityville. This is cardinal sign shit. And this is cardinal sign stuff that is all about let's go, let's make it happen. Mars is exalted. We've got the moon in Aries. We've got Mercury. We've got Venus. We've got Uranus. The sun's going to come over Chiron and go, yeah, I got all these wounds, but you know what? Look at the head. Let's go. True grit. You got to bite the bullet a little bit. If you got to cry on the road, You know, cry on the road, but don't stop the journey. The hard part of all this that I'm preparing everybody for is Mars, Saturn, and Pluto is not over this year. Mars will come back into Capricorn later this year and retrograde with Saturn and Pluto. We are going to have to learn to be tough, and there is no cuddles during this time. There are no Care Bears around. There are no crying stations around. Now, your family, your home life, your mother, these places are in the opposite place. Those are the places where you'll find relief or solace. But I'll be honest with you, there's so much trying to teach you to get over your own emotional, sensitive, and I hate to say it because we all got them, our own individual baby issues. We've all become a massive humanity that are babies. They didn't get my order right at In-N-Out today. Oh my God, my internet got turned off for an hour. Oh my God, they didn't get my iPhone in the right color and it shipped a day late. That's where we are. Do you think, when I look at this chart and I look at where we're at and I look at this Chiron shit and I look at why there's all this Capricorn coming in, and the last time that came in, of course, was in the late 1200s when the whole new world changed, is because the world needs to fucking change. And the only way that the world is going to change through this whole entire process is you learning to not be such a baby. And the unfortunate part of Mars, Saturn, and Pluto is Kronos eats his own child. We've talked about this, and for years I've talked about this shit. And Mars, Saturn, and Pluto, in my opinion, would definitely be Kronos eating his kid. Tasty. I like babies. You know, do you remember? I like babies. The universe is about to ingest babies. The more baby-like you are, the harder it's going to be. The more you say, okay, I know I'm a baby, but I'm not going to deal with that stuff. You don't want to show your baby side right now. Like, this is going to be tough. I'm telling you, it's going to be tough. I'm giving you some tough love because I love you. And I'm just giving you some real shit here. This can be amazing if you put your babies in your past and your sensitivities and your old issues, and when you actually look at them, they're fucking first world, overly fucking sensitive baby issues that have nothing to do with where humanity wants to go or be remembered as. Do we want to be remembered as crying because our iPhone is late today in the mail? Do we want to be remembered as they got my order wrong and it's ruining my day? Do we want to be remembered as, oh my gosh, you know, I went to go get my hair done and they didn't do the blowout right? Do we want to be remembered as a person, oh my God, at my wedding they didn't do this right and everything's ruined? I actually have one more chart to look at before I start throwing iPads everywhere. Last chart, which is March 19th, Monday, the day before the new year. Sun is going to be at 29 degrees with Chiron, while the moon is on Uranus and Aries. Why is this significant? Because we are going to have to learn to find all the things about our personality, our strengths, our courage, and integrate it into our moving forward into life while leaving a deeply wounded past behind. And that's how we're going to start the new year of 2018. New year hasn't happened yet, folks. New year hasn't happened. On March 20th, when the sun hits 0 Aries, boom, new year. Guess what? On the last days or the last week of this year, it's truly letting go of the last 6 years. It's truly letting go of lifelong patterns of being a sensitive, overbearing, crybaby to the world and ourselves. It's learning that we have to learn to help each other out and pick each other up through these things and be tough. Mars in Capricorn is, unfortunately, if somebody breaks their leg and it looks like it's not going to go well, it cuts the leg off, and if it still doesn't go well, they leave them and keep moving on. Because Capricorn's a trail, and it's got a destination to make. And guess what? There is no Cancer. In Cancer, at least there's a medic. But when there's no Cancer around for this transit, at least in the summer, when Mars retrogrades back into Capricorn, at least there's some Cancer energy that's by there to make this a little bit easier. But this one's saying, like, let's set off. And for those, and I hate to use this analogy, the whole left behind. I know Christians use it and stuff like that, but like, I'm telling you, I know it might sound a little freaky, but like, if you're holding yourself behind because you're too sensitive, you're too scared to deal with old parts of yourself, you're not ready to integrate your power, you're not ready to integrate yourself, you're not ready to go on the trail and deal with a little bit of toughness. Might be a little scary at first, but once you get on the trail and start whistling and get through, you'll make it. And if you get a little bump and it hurts, you spit on it. That's what Mars in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn are teaching. Put some dirt on it and keep moving forward. How do you think those weird goats get up the hill all crazy? Do you think they cry and go, I can't make it, I'm gonna fall? No, they hold on. And then they hold on again. It's like Cliffhanger, except he doesn't let go of her. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you remember. That's an old movie. Some of the millennials might not remember Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone. Oh, he lets go of that girl, But that's the only way he can make it and survive. If he really loved her, he would have gone down with her. But when Mars, Pluto, and Saturn are in Capricorn, if I can't hold on to you and you can't hold on to yourself, there's a natural instinct to kind of go, oops. I know that might sound fucked up as hell, but I'm just saying that, I'm an astrologer looking in the future, and maybe I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but with this astrology and all this Aries and all this Capricorn, it's do or die, take it for yourself, and unfortunately there's no Libra energy through this whole transit except for the full moon, which is coming, but that's not coming until March 31st, and Easter, which is ironic that weekend, but then, and there's no Cancer through the beginning of this Mars, Saturn, Pluto conjunction, so I'll be honest with you all. Over this next week is, you know what? You gotta find that grit. You gotta find that energy. You gotta step through your shit. You gotta, God is there. And I think that you gotta learn, it's okay to just spit on it and move forward. It's okay to just, put some dirt on it and move forward. It's okay to integrate courage in yourself and keep your eye on the prize and bring back parts of yourself from pre-2012 that are going to help you now get to where you need to go through now. And don't be afraid that the universe has already brought it up. I guarantee you 100% the universe has already brought it up in your life. I guarantee you it. It's already showed up. That old dude showed up. That old chick showed up. Oh my God. Am I okay if I let her in now? I actually pushed her away because I thought I couldn't get through the last 6 years with that girl or that guy in my life. Talking, of course, of our own individual selves. But now that we're on the other side of this, the universe is being like, oh shit, maybe you need that person back to get through this part. That's a lot to think about and a lot to process on this week. Don't miss my horoscopes every day. They're awesome. Futurelife.tv. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thanks for always sharing these videos. I truly appreciate it. This is the last weekend to book a one-on-one reading with me without having to go through an appointment schedule to where you have to just send in a submission, and if I'm available, but sometimes I don't know. So this is the last weekend to do it. theleoking.com, click on consultations. Anyways, thanks so much for all your support. I truly appreciate it, and I'm sending you all my best, and I'll see you guys on the next Deep Astrology, or hopefully tomorrow on futurelife.tv, the website and the app. Hi, Grandma. How are you? Oh, I'm doing good. No, I'm eating I'm eating really healthy right now in my life. Lots and lots of vegetables, yeah. And potatoes too, you know, they're vegetables, aren't they? Yeah, no, I'm eating healthy. I feel really good. Yeah, I'm in shape too. Oh, my relationship, Grandma? Oh, it's going great. We're really connected right now. No, I mean, the love's there. She's you know, lots of attention. We really have really interesting conversations too. No, yeah, don't worry about me, Grandma. It's going good. Oh, my dreams. You know, you don't have to worry about my dreams. They're always coming true. Yeah, financially, everything's going good. I've got everything I want, the job I want. Yeah, everything's going good there. Future life? What's that, Grandma? I know, I'll follow your advice. What is it? It's a new app? I'll check it out. Future life.
Future life. Wake up to your future like you've never seen before.